you're locked in this kind of battle with Zerg versus Zerg, you're not going to go for any sort of extra expansion because that would just mean death for you. So we are going to see a evolution chamber going up. We're going to get some spore colonies possibly going down here for by.hero, which is probably not a bad idea, so we can get some extra defense on the base. No spore colonies going down, but we do see some Scourge coming over and some Mutalisk. We're going to see aggressive, of course, by Kwanro, as you mentioned before, Steve. Being the aggressor, he is going to come, and that is a spore colony going down. So this is going to help a lot, unless Kwanro can get in here before the spore colony comes up. But no, he's not. He is moving away. So we might see, looks like as far as food count, oh my gosh, and a free Scourge hit. Kwanro getting careless there. He is going to take out that Scourge most likely.
I did think that Kwanro had way less drones mining. Yeah, you can see he's only got 4 drones on minerals, and by.hero, looks like when they click back here, if they do, it looks like just Scourge taking out their Scourge. They click back, you got 6, it looks like 5 drones, so maybe it's not a huge difference, but he is getting a little more minerals than Kwanro is, so over time that might make a difference. But it looks like, yeah, like you said, in food count, they're pretty much even right now. Earlier on, it looked like by.hero had taken a little bit of an edge, but I don't think he really has now, and it's going to be, you know, depending on who picks where they fight. It looks like Hero would prefer to fight over his base with the, you know, spore colony there, and obviously Kwanro doesn't want to do that, so Hero can just sit back. But the fact that neither player has got another hatchery, no other player can get a hatchery, really, because then it's just the second thing they have to protect. It's just going to be, you know, both players getting as many Mulas as they can to get comfortable and just meeting out in the air. There's really nothing else to it that they can really do. But like you said, it looks like they're pretty much even, I think. You know, it looks like, so probably just going to want to get a control group and then move out. I mean, it's going to come down to micro. There's nothing really else you can do in this situation. Now, one note about by.hero, he has shown incredible micro in the past. He is one of these players that has close to 400 APM, which is really ridiculous. So, you know, I don't know how it translates into his Zerg versus Zerg. Oh, and it looks like a Mutalisk going down there. That's not going to be good for Kwanro. That's one less Mutalisk, and again, every Mutalisk and every Scourge is going to count in this battle as we see that they're so even.
Yeah, I would go to say that by.hero has the Mutalisk advantage here. He has a lot of Mutalisk. It almost looks like more than one control group there, whereas by.hero or Kwanro doesn't quite seem to have as much. Showing Kwanro there, that's by.hero. You know what? This is a tough one. I mean, here's the thing. I think that going for that spore colony was really smart because you have that last ditch where you can run to your base if you're starting to get a little bit owned on the other opponent's base. Whereas Kwanro, of course, doesn't have that, and by.hero could chase him back to his base and possibly finish the kill if this does happen. I don't know. I mean, I think by.hero has the more leeway, but you got to think right now that neither player knows what the other's doing. Both players are sitting there going, I have no idea. Is the other player, were they dumb and decided to go for an expansion? Are they upgrading their air attack? I mean, who knows? It could be something crazy. Obviously, they're not. They're both just trying to get their drone count back up and building a bunch of Scourge and Mutalisk. But as a player, you're completely in the dark, and I think at this point, they're probably both waiting for each other to attack. Now, this is smart. Get the scout in. Perfect. That's all those were there for. They were just there to scout. That cost you 50 minerals, and now you know what's going on at the other base. You know there's no expansion going down. You know about the amount of Mutalisk, and that is all that by.hero needs to go out. He has seen what he needs to see. Now we're going to go to by.hero's screen here, checking out the Mutalisk micro here. It is hard to keep pushing towards the screen, man. You don't get a very wide screen. It's like 640 by 480 when it comes to StarCraft, man. There's no high resolution, dude. This is back in 97, 98. So he's going to sit outside the base and get ready for a big attack. Huge attack going in here by.hero to Kwanro. By.hero, we're going to see how many Scourges land. A bunch of Scourges land. by.hero looking excellent there. And I think this might be the game with by.hero taking this out.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, but it looks like by.hero did have a significant number of mutas. You know, I don't see how. I just see a lot of Kwanro's Scourge land too. But oh, he does have +1 though, and that might have been what he was waiting for. Was that +1? I don't know if Kwanro had a +1. They're showing that by.hero does have +1, and Kwanro GG's. So it might have really been the +1 that made a huge difference there. You'll have to go back and check yourself if that's correct. But yeah, now. Well, by.hero, I think barely making it out on the skin of his teeth that he won that match, but now, you know, Kwanro is going to be in a huge, huge deficit in this round. The fact that he's got, you know, Kanata and Lita in this round, and he's now 0-2, it's going to be really tough for him to do anything.
Yeah, I agree. You know, it sucks for Kwanro. He hasn't been playing a all that well. That wasn't horrible by him. It was interesting because they switched to the first-person view right as they're attacking. And so in first-person view, you press tab twice, I think it is, so that you switch to your units being green and the enemies being red. So Kwanro was red the entire time, and right when they attacked, it switched to then by.hero being red and Kwanro being green. So go back and watch that if you want to see it. But all I know is I saw a lot of Scourges land, and I know that most of those Scourges were by.hero, and that's why I was able to call it for by.hero despite the color change. Interesting day, though. We saw some fairly exciting Zerg versus Zerg matches, which I was kind of surprised at. That was a longer match, like 12 minutes. So obviously probably just because of the longer map. So what are we looking at? Day 5 here we have, it's going to be on July 8th, so 4 days from now. Why don't you read those off for us, Steve, the matchups we have?
Well, you're going to have Yellow Arnak versus Jadong, and again, if Yellow wins that match, Flash will be out. So again, Jadong, just want to throw it out there. If you want, maybe just kind of let Yellow win. I'm just saying, kind of let him in, because I mean, seriously, in the round of 8, you know, who do you want to play more? Do you want to play Jadong, or do you want to play? I'm sorry, Jadong. Do you want to play Flash? Or do you want to play Yellow? Probably wants to play Yellow. We got Yellow versus Jadong. In Group B, we've also got Backhoe versus Type B, so that should be a good PVZ. And then in Group C, we have Zero versus Bisu, and Group D, Lita versus Kwanro. And it looks like they're showing now what actually happened. They're showing that +1 upgrade, and that's exactly what by.hero was waiting for, as I mentioned. So he's just exactly waiting for +1, and as soon as he's about to get +1, bam, there's +1. He moves in, and that is going to be a huge difference. Let's see what happens.
Look,
here's
the
slow-mo.
This is
beautiful.
Awesome.
You're right. A lot of I think Kwanro's Scourge did land too, but a lot of Scourge landing for by.hero, and I don't know if they clicked on his mutas. Yeah, I think his Kwanro's mutas did not have +1. No, they did not. So that, my friends, is a huge difference in a mirror matchup. Same way in Protoss versus Protoss, Terran versus Terran, you got a +1 upgrade over the other player. It's going to be a huge advantage. So not sure exactly who had more mutas, if any, but it was honestly negligible. by.hero doing a really smart job of that. And again, when he sent those Zerglings in, he could also scout that he, you know, only wasn't +1. So scouting being very important, and obviously upgrades in a mirror versus mirror.
Well, that was good. Good way to end the 4th of July. I've never seen a slow-mo replay like that, so that was awesome. Thanks for listening, guys. Definitely subscribe if you like us. Thanks.